Hey, this is your girl, msyelladiva. I am bringing you another episode of the BMF Season 4, Episode 3, Good Faith. All right. If you are new here, welcome. We do reviews here, okay? And if you're returning, welcome back. All right, give me a thumbs up, like and share and subscribe to my channel, and we will begin. All right. Okay, so they back in Mexico. I guess they want to show how they got they got away again. Okay, so it's two people driving, and it's like a truck full of vegetables and fruits and stuff, and they are at the bottom, like like how they did the slaves, where they had to transport the slaves under the bed of the truck. Okay, so that's what it was. Okay, so they transporting them. I don't even know where they're transporting them to, but they transporting them. And so then some people came and start shooting the drivers, and they located them, and then they got away. I don't know what that point was, but hey, that's okay. They got away. So yeah, apparently T is narrating, and he was just like, when I came back from Mexico, I felt like I was, basically that's not a word. I was about to say uninvincible. That's not a word. Invincible. I guess uninvincible would be invincible. Okay, so I basically I thought that nothing is going to kill me. That's basically what it is. So it's invincible. Okay, so that's basically what it is. So they go to prison times, and so T mad because he can't get in touch with Jay Pusher to know about what's going on with their. It was like a ton of weight product that they had shipped to South Carolina. I mean, not South Carolina. To St. Louis. Yeah, so T mad because he can't get in touch with Jay Pusher. And so then Markeisha coming to T like, where's my product? I got to go talk to this man in South Carolina, try to and bring him some product. Bring him some product, and where's my product? And so he mad because the product is in St. Louis and nobody can get in touch with Jay Pusher. That's the problem. And so, Markeisha was like, listen, I'm a woman. I and this, I'm new to this, I can't fuck up on my first try, basically. And so he was like, my hands are tied. I got to figure out what's going on. So Nicole is visiting Atlanta to Morris Brown College. Okay. And so she's supposed to visit for a weekend by herself. But lo and behold, Mama is coming with her. Okay? Lo and behold, Mama's coming with her. Mama is coming with her. Okay? You ain't going to the A by yourself, sugar. And then Nicole was like, what do you think I'm gonna do? She said, so basically I won't have a sex party with the marching Wolverines. I start cracking up. I said, wait a minute. She know the band. She know the band, the Marching Wolverines. So basically, she won't have no sex party with the Marching Wolverines. Okay, the band is pretty famous. You know, they was in Drumline. They was in Drumline. And, you know, my baby daddy was in Drumline. He was in the Marching Wolverines band. Also, okay then. All right. So, and his sister was in the Marching Wolverines too. Yep. Yeah, so I know about the Marching Wolverines. I knew. My son's grandmama still does like the fundraising for the Marching Wolverines. It is what it is, child. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so yeah, so mama is coming with her auntie coming too. So yeah, it's gonna be a family affair and minus daddy. All right, so Vaughn, aka Mark, okay, he is calling the police because apparently I guess he actually was hired as APD. I don't remember none of that, but okay, whatever the case may be. He's trying to find this guy named Don Ginkgo who bought the Honda that was stolen that Meech gave to Nicole. And so he also has the CCTV cameras downloaded. So it wasn't downloaded at that time. Okay, it was VHS at that time. Okay, that was what 90s. Okay, yeah. So it was VHS at that time. Okay, we weren't downloading anything, but he has the CCTV tape. Okay, that he needs to look at to see, you know, if Meech visited the dealership. Okay, and he did visit the dealership, and it is on the tape. Okay, so Meech and so Meech is entertaining a young lady at the house when the doorbell rings. Okay, doorbell rings, it is Meech's family. That is T, Nikki, and Mama. Okay. So the young lady got to get all of the drugs and stuff. She got to put them away and all the other stuff. And so then T Mama come in, was like, I'm glad I came when I did. He was like, you entertaining women of the night. I said, ooh, I know she didn't. And T was like,
surprise, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker. Okay, but yeah, she said, yeah, you entertaining women of the night. And so basically she trying to call her a hooker. Basically trying to call her a hooker. Okay. And so Meech was like, my mom is a pastor. And she was like, oh, I love the Lord. I'm Baptist, Methodist, you know, Christian, you know. And so Mama was like, either she gonna leave or I'm gonna leave. Ooh, wait, Mama, you wrong for that. So, you know, he politely kicked her right on out. You can't come between mamas and sons, boo. You can't come between mamas and sons, okay? So they make themselves at home. T asked Meech was like, you know, why did you move the drop to St. Louis without telling me? And so Meech was like, listen, Brian is still down here. He working for the APD. You know, our product almost got seized by the feds. So he was like, I had to do what I had to do. And so he was like, so we need to just transport it back to Detroit instead of, you know, coming here to Atlanta. And so Meech was like, listen, I'm 20 steps I'm 20 steps ahead of Brian. He said, so you know, we got a handle. He said, so either you roll with us or you get rolled over. And that's basically what he said. He said to T. So Nicole's mama on the campus, you know, she over here looking at all the little young hot men on the campus. She come across this AKA. So she was just like, you know, the AKA asked Nicole's mama, Lucille, did she pledge? And she was like, no. She said, you know, I don't even think she went to college, now that I think about it. Okay, I don't think she graduated high school. You know, even though she's Clevelander. Hey, Lucille, hey. You grew up around my family, hey. I'm just saying. You know, you probably went to school with my parents, okay? Hey, Lucille. Anyway, but I don't think she graduated high school. You know, so, because they said, what's her name? Nikki was the first person that graduated high school, because T didn't graduate. Meech didn't graduate. I guess Charles didn't graduate. So I don't think Lucille graduated. But anyway, she over here talking to the lady like, you know, she went to college and stuff. She was like, I just feel like they cliquish and stuff. And so then the lady was like, you know, my daughter, she is going to pledge my sorority, and she'll be a legacy, and she was gonna be pre-med. And then she was just like, oh shit, Nicole ain't even declared a major. She was like, okay, thank you, and she walked away. And she was like, Nicole, you gotta declare a major, you know. It is what it is. So the dealership lady, because I don't know what her name is, the dealership lady comes to Meech's apartment, or Meech's house, and she said, well, the paperwork, you know, that Detective Bryant sees will lead him to a dead end. But the CCTV footage that he sees also will show that y'all came to the dealership. And so, and also she said Kenny Bryant is the guy who gave her the stolen vehicle. All the rest of the vehicles are not stolen except for that Honda that he gave to what's the name. And so she gave him a file on Kenny Bryant, and she was like, do what you will with this information. But don't that lady on don't that dealership lady look like Bernadette from Climax? I got a meeting in the ladies' room. Be back real soon. Remember? Okay, yeah. Remember Bernadette from Climax? Don't slap me, cause I'm not in the mood. Don't slap me. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Cause I'm not in the mood. Okay, go ahead. Anyway, all right. So Meech tell Duffy that he need to go give Kenny a whole lot of money and get out of town. And apparently, Duffy needs to lay low because Duffy is on the run from Detroit as well, because he unalived a young promising athlete, and so he needs to lay low too. So he said, you need to lay low, and you need to give Duffy this money, or give Kenny this money, and tell him he need to go somewhere. So Meech buy his mama a fur coat, and so and so she was like, the Lord always protect us, always give us what we needed. And so Meech was like, he ain't paid that house off because I paid that house off. Where was the Lord then? And she was like, well, the Lord protected you when you got shot up, and he saved your ass. So Duffy goes to Kenny Johnson, and he said he was just doing these stolen cars, to pay for EMT school because he about to be an EMT, right? So he was like, I can't, go nowhere. I gotta, pass these tests because so I could be an EMT. So Brian come knocking at the door looking for Kenny. And so Duffy in there and Kenny in there. And so, Brian was like, Kenny, I know you in there. He was like, I see your car outside. And so when he said, we're going to do it the hard way or easy way. So he kicked down the door, and Duffy and Kenny are not in the apartment, so we don't know where they went. We don't know if they together or if they split apart. We don't know who got the money, but whatever the case may be, the money was gone, and Kenny and Duffy was gone. Okay. And so then Brian questioned the dealership lady again, Bernadette from Climax. I got a meeting in the ladies' room. Don't slap me. And so Brian couldn't get anything out of her. So and so she was like, if you gonna arrest me. If not, I'm leaving. And so he said, you grimy bitch, and you on my list. And she's like, okay, but I still got a meeting in the ladies' room. Anyway, the family goes to church. It seems like it's a Creflo Dollar church, and they are preaching more prosperity, and it's basically a prosperity, preaching church, so so the bootleg Creflo pastor, better known as Pinky from next Friday. He played in a lot of stuff though. He thanks Lucille from coming to the church. He tried to get her to join the church. And so Lucille told him she a pastor and she teach her congregation humility and modesty. So then bootleg Creflo says, salvation comes in a lot of forms. He said, God doesn't dim the light of his stars. The stars need to guide the way. Basically, the stars need to guide the way. So then Lucille, I think she may take this preaching salvation, prosperity back to Detroit. We don't know, but she said, the stars lead the way. Or she may move down to to Atlanta and, join the church. I don't know. We'll see. Mickey invites Charles to dinner because he knows that what's her name? that his family is out of town, so he invites him over for dinner. T and Meech go to a video shoot. Okay, so Meech meets a young lady over there by the snack bar. She says she does makeup for the artist, And he said, my name is Demetrius. I make a lot of money and I can spend it on you if you give me your phone number. He said, I don't give random men my phone number, but I can take yours. Okay. And then Trail, that's Purdy's manager, because artist in that is named Purdy. Apparently he's her manager, her producer, her label, the label, everything. Everything that everybody. And he introduces himself to Meech and T. And then he gonna say, I'm gonna be in the car when you are finished with your fan club. So basically he thinking they fans and not anybody that he need to be worried about. You need to worry, baby. You need to worry, okay? So Meech and T get an idea to start a record label, okay? Start a record label so they can wash their dirty money too. You know, hey, it seemed par for the course, man. So that's how BMF got started. But they trying to figure out a name for the label, but they're gonna eventually go back to BMF because why not? You know, Black Mafia family. Why not? Okay. So Lucille back from the trip. She unpacking. She said this fur is gaudy, but I didn't want to leave it with Meech because he gave it to me, and I don't want him to think that I didn't like it. But she said it was gaudy. Charles said he want to take a lady out on a date. Lucille was like, "Listen, you know, you could take whoever you want to take out on the date because you know you a free man." And so, but then she was like, "But who is it? Who is it?" And so she was like, he was like, it's Cece, a lady that it works in T's restaurant. So she was like, okay, whatever. You close the door on the way out. Whatever. So Jay Pusher finally shows up. Okay. Finally shows up. And not only did he sell his portion, he sold some of their portion too. But he is bringing him the money, but we don't even know how much money he bringing him. But he bringing him money. And so T is upset because, you know, but Meech was like, okay, well, as long as he got the money, that's a good thing. And so T was like, no, that's not a good thing because he broke the chain of command. And so Meech was like, oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. So T was like, you know, listen, I mean, Meech was like, you don't run shit, we do. You know, you got to clear everything with us. And so he was just like, you know, I'm sorry, man. You know, I was just, you know, trying to do what you do. You know, I'm trying, you know, trying to be like you know. So no disrespect, my bad and stuff like that. And T was like, you know, he took him to the side talking about, I think he a snake. And so, and he was like, and you know a lot about snakes. And he does know a lot about snakes, okay? That's the reason why the snake bit him. And then now God came and talked to him, talking about you got anointing on your life. That's what happened. That's what happened. So Loco wants the product to go to, still wants the product to go to St. Louis too, because apparently it's a lot of cops at Miami's airport and there's a lot of cops at Atlanta airport, but there ain't no cops at St. Louis airport. So he still wants the product to go to St. Louis, but he is concerned about this guy, Jay Pusher, and he was like, you know, so Loco asked Meech, do you trust Jay Pusher with your life? And he was like, yeah, for sure. He was like, you know, he got my back. He got your way back. But he got my back. I trust him. And so Loco was like, okay. But, in the next episode, he going to try to cut Meech out. And Loco ain't probably going to deal with that. So, Markeisha. So, T had to tell Markeisha that they don't have all the weight that they were supposed to have, because Jay Pusher sold most of the weight. And so, but he can get, he can get something take, or she can get something to take to South Carolina. And Markeisha was like, that's not good enough. She was like, because I need the product, that you told me I can get. And so he was like, well, what you want me to do? I don't have the product. He said, so either we got to wait to get another product, or he said we can like cut it down and make, basically cut it down, put some baking soda and shit in there, to fill it with the weight. And she was like, no, because I told him that y'all got the pure shit. And he was like, well, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? We can do this. We gotta wait for the stuff, or we gotta cut it and give some raggedy shit, and then we can give them the good shit later. What you want me to do? And so she was just like, well, just make it the best you can make it. Okay, so they gotta cut it and put some baking soda and shit in there, and so they can fill their quota, basically. So then they go to the little place, right? Markeisha trying to jump out the car. All right, let's go. He was like, wait a minute. You gotta look around, check out your surroundings and stuff like that. She was like, I know what I'm doing. He tried to jump out the car again. No, come on, let's go. And then he was like, no, come back. So he was like, just check out your surroundings. And so they looked, and it was like a bunch of white men in this diner. It was the South Carolina guy in the diner, but it's a lot of white men in the diner that look like they wasn't supposed to be there. Because they wasn't eating or nothing. They were just, checking out the doors and shit like that. Yeah. So they feel like that's a setup, and they leave. And so T mad, he was like, did y'all, set me up? And she was like, no. She was like, cause I got arrested too. What you talking about? They would have took me to jail too. And that's the truth though. They would have took her to jail too. So what you talking about? So, and so Markeisha was like, and then, Meech calls T, and he said that, Loco still wants the stuff to go to St. Louis. So he basically said we got to deal with Jay Pusher even more, and so T is upset about that. And so then Markeisha was like, you need to ride for the people who ride for you, like me and Hoop and stuff like that. You need to ride for people who ride for you, and so Meech will have to deal with it. So he took that to the heart. So now he talked to B Mickey. So B Mickey is in the clique with everybody else. Okay, even though B Mickey Meech said B Mickey is dead to him, but B Mickey is in the clique with T and Hoop and Markeisha. And so we'll see what this holds next week. Okay, so that was the end of the episode. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, and comment to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.